Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring you two very, very fine poets and artists. I have the lovely and talented Miss Kemlyn Tan Bappe and the poet Khan. Welcome to both of you. Now, we're here initially to talk about the unveiling of the brand new book. Miss Kemlyn Tan Bappe has brought us her book to show. Wow, amazing. And we're going to talk to her a little bit about her book and about her friendship with the poet Khan and all the wonderful and amazing things you do together. I understand you've recovered well from your adventures last night. Okay, good. So,
Yes.
Emlyn, I
And
know a
the
little
hour
about.
back did not help.
Well, I didn't want to schedule this too early in the morning to force you to uh, focus in a premature fashion. But Kem, we've talked a couple times before, and these have all been wonderful meetings. But now we've got something very special to talk about. A book that has been probably in the hopper for quite some time. You've been thinking about it, and I know your friend Khan has been instrumental in helping this all come to focus. But let me talk to you first. You know, you're a poet with such power who addresses lighthearted things and serious events that have happened to you, that whole gamut. And you have your art forms and your dance and your acting and your teaching. You're a very multi-talented woman. Talk to us a little bit about first the name of the book and what was the genesis of this book.
So, Rick, thank you so much for having me and Khan participate in this interview. Thank you, Poets of the East. I really appreciate your show, and I am just so thrilled to be back and join you all. Between the Lies. Some of you know that my brother Lucian and I host a show called Between the Lines. And Rick, of course, you are one of our core members and always adding such interesting, mind stimulating poetry on our show with creatives. It was, of course, week after week, we think about Between the Lines. It was so apropos for me to think about what people don't see behind the scenes of a performer, of a writer, a teacher. We are expected to hold a certain decorum. Many who have heard my trauma journey were shocked because they would never anticipate someone like me to have come from a place of recovery and from traumatic abuse. Because they're like, how do you do it? How do you smile? How do you just spend time listening to people? How do you teach with such confidence despite such brokenness? And they've encouraged me for years now to write my memoirs or to do a screenplay of my life. And at different times, I tried to put my life story down. It just never seemed to come to fruition, and I don't think I was ready. Part of surviving trauma is learning to deal with the lies that you've been fed, the lies society expects you to live, the lies that you tell yourself in order to make it through each day. And so it just seemed to come together when this anthology, this collection of poems to talk about where's the healing between the lies that I have been living or facing, eating, and how do I make sense or not make sense, but just face them and take the next step towards healing. And I wanted to show you the cover. This is the author's proof. My shipping copies will, my actual copies will be coming soon. But many people see sharks and treacherous waters in the cover. and it's actually a little tiger. In a nursery rhyme in Chinese that I grew up with is about three little tigers, and one tiger has no eyes, another tiger has no ears, and what I was always curious when I found out that the real original version only had two, why in Singapore did we sing three? And as I was pondering a mystery that I could not answer, I realized that I was the tiger that had no mouth. And so, uh, in the front of the book, it has the artwork is the front cover and back cover is from my own brush, and it says, I've heard that during some forensic psychological interviews with abuse victims, children were asked to mark body parts which they were touched with an X. And so wherever you find those X's is where we have been silenced.
I was wondering, your book, Between the Lies, is it primarily poetry, or is it poetry and short story or and biography? How would you characterize the book?
Khan, you have read this book.
Yes.
How do you think
It's
we should categorize it?
oh man, we it's mostly poetry, but we definitely have some good prose, some stories in there. Where, just moments of you reliving a moment that was, pivotal, that was a frolic, that was enjoyable from a younger time, something that you at that time you didn't realize what it was, and then later in life, you know full circle moment. And so yes, there's some it's mostly poetry, but there are some prose pieces as well.
What I
Well,
love about Rick, what I love about poetry is that it gives the reader enough space to think and insert their own thoughts and questions and fill in the blanks between. So, the reason why I think this story unfolded in poetry form is not just a cathartic journey for me, because it was definitely created during a time where I was spewing a lot of raw emotions and raw thoughts, but it gives people enough space so that they can interact with the content. And it's I definitely didn't want it to be a preachy, prescriptive kind of book, as meant as and it's not a self-help book. It is a book that captures a splice of my time in the last 2 years as I thought and worked through a lot of my trauma, and
okay,
it's still an ongoing journey. Yeah.
thank you. But let me take a moment now to bring on and talk to Miss Khan a little bit. Um, Obviously, you're a person who means a lot to this charming, lovely poet, Miss Kemlyn. Uh, Talk to us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Obviously, you're a poet and a fine human being who would be brought into the confidence of Miss Kemlyn. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My full stage name is Poet Khan Fire, and I've been poeting pretty much all my life, or since I could write. But here in the last few years since the pandemic, I have really just clinged on to my words for dear life. Yes, and in the midst of that, I have ran into other poets who are basically doing the same thing. Just finding a new identity in poetry. And so fast forward a little bit to one great night. One day, actually, we were in a room with other fellow poets, other healers, I like to call them, people that help us recognize when help us see our hurt. Because sometimes as you know, we are healers, whatever you'd like to call that, as poets. Sometimes we don't give to ourselves. We don't see ourselves. And anyway, I met Kemlyn in a poetry room one night, and I appreciated her admiration for me, for my comfortableness with my sexuality. And, you know, a lot of that also is, you know, this is something we don't talk about, especially, you know, women. We don't know how to really just heal with each other in this space. And I like to credit, you know, our age difference, our culture difference, but I think even more so just kind of it was divine, really, because the healing was both ways. It allowed me to, you know, splash some spice on Kemlyn. Kemlyn splashed some you know, just allowing me to not be objectified, just be, and just be in my curves and my woman. And that was healing for me. So we just, through poetry, we found a place of vulnerability and sisterhood. Yeah. And just, I was able to talk with her about things that it was unfortunate that she understood, but I'm grateful she did, because I was able to find healing and be seen in these dark, 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 dark places that I put over here in the corner that's got a lock on them and a box in them. You know, I was able to go unlock and be like, oh, please love me right here, you know. And that's what we did with each other. Last year, we did a healing workshop together, and it was great. We presentations and all of it. You know, that's where we started our collaborative journey together, working together, being intentional on, you know, both of us showing up and saying how we feel, and both of us understanding that we sometimes have a hard time with that. And that was very good too. So, you know, our all of the everything else that came from it came from these moments of talking in the middle of the night and for hours, and talking about boys and men, and just finding that friendship. Yeah, so it grew into, I had an idea. My first book was self-published by a publisher. And fast forward some years, I had an idea of doing that same service for poets, of course, as a means of income for myself. Didn't have a job. I homeschool my children, you know, I need flexibility, long story short. So this has been a part of me creating that for myself. And it's been a journey to show up for myself as well as show up for, you know, my poets. And Kemlyn, it's just been a really beautiful journey to do this with you, you know. So yeah, I ran it by Kemlyn. I was just more so kind of being like, what do you think about this? What do you think? She gave me some honest criticism. She, you know, invited me to have some other people look at it. And from there, we just decided, you know, maybe it's time. She decided maybe it was time. And
Let me ask you one more question, then I'll turn back to Kem. Uh, Kemlyn is such a rare individual with writing skills and painting skills and acting and dancing and teaching. Are you a multi-talented person? Well, in addition to your writing of poetry, do you do other arts as well?
I'm a jazz poet. I sing. Um, I I I do spoken word. I'm a spoken word recording artist. So I'm
Wonderful.
kind of in the same realm, but just doing, you know, I haven't really I am venturing to use my instrument as my voice, and singing, you know, that kind of thing.
Wonderful.
Rhyming. Of course, you know, as far as like rapping, outside of poetry, you know. but I haven't, those are my multiple disciplinaries, yes. Let me
Okay.
do it like that.
All right, thank you so much. Now let me turn back to our dear Kemlyn. Kemlyn, my dear, would you favor us with perhaps one of the poetic pieces from your new
I
book?
actually put two together for you.
Oh my God. You mean you anticipated? You rascal.
Oh my goodness. We haven't been friends for a long time.
No, no. Still getting used to each other, you know.
So, Rick, the first poem was written in El Paso at a workshop led by Stacy Dyson. So I cannot pick a more apropos poem to read while I'm in El Paso celebrating this collection. Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong. They are weak, but he is strong. Strong, strong. I was taught that everything happens for a reason. Then reason with me. If you are strong, answer me this, Jesus. Why are the little ones chosen, stolen, beaten, eaten, preyed on? I hate myself because even with everything that has happened, I still prey on. I keep making excuses for you, Jesus, like maybe it was my fault. I was a bad girl. I needed to be punished. I was too sexy. I was too tempting. I was destroying family ties. I was 5. Others like me are littler. If you are so strong, how could you? Why could you? Would you, did you not protect me? Us. If this is the Bible's truth, if this is love, Jesus, then I don't want love.
Wow, that's so powerful. So powerful. Unfortunately, there is so much pain in our world and so much abuse of people, of humans, of women, of children. It's so sad. Um, Beautifully and powerfully written, Kemlyn. Of course, it's my profoundest belief that from this catharsis, a healing grows, and if that's the bloom from that plant, then that's a good thing. I'm sure there are poems of resilience in your book as well, Between the Lies.
And so you just heard the first opening poem, and then I'm going to give you the ending poem. It's called Phoenix Rising. So I am me. I am the phoenix rising. I emerge from my cocoon. I'm a butterfly. I am a mermaid. I don my blue gown. I glitter, bedazzle my satin sash. I crown myself with laurels. I dare to dream dreams. I quest for my grail. I tell my own story. I slay dragons. I kiss my fears goodbye. I'm the hero. I'm the princess of my own fairy tale. I love me. I join forces. I form alliances. I find my tribe. We dream dreams into reality. We envision new worlds. We speak our truths. We cry unicorn tears. We shout till the walls come down. We sing songs of healing. We fight the monsters. We bind one another's wounds. We leave no one behind. We are kings and queens. We love our princes and princesses. We are lovable. We are capable. We are valuable. We usher in a new kingdom.
Bravo. Bravo. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. Yes, that Phoenix part of you, that just is so marvelous and just fills so many rooms with delight. I'm honored, honored to have you here, honored to call you friend. Thank you so much for sharing that.
I will tell you how you can find my book.
Good.
It's available on Amazon, and it's called Between the Lies. It's listed at $25. Or if you would prefer to have an author's copy from me, it'll be available after March 19th. And it's also $25 plus shipping, and I'll autograph it. Now, if you are overseas and it'll be much cheaper or easier because of shipping, and want to order it directly from Amazon US, please do so. And if you still want a dedication, you can email me at chemfish or qsblueworld@gmail.com, and I will actually create a dedication that you can print off and then glue into the blank page in front of your book. So I thought, since we live in a very interesting Zoomiverse or online world, I wanted to create personal options for that to happen. Also, PoetCon is going to be in charge of some of my publicity, and she will be hosting an online book signing and launch. And so you can come, I can write your dedication, show it to you, and then we'll email it to you so that you can print it off and have it pasted onto your book.
Bravo. Bravo. A nice mixing of the media, the written, the artistically drawn, and the email across the universe. How absolutely wonderful. Just another example of the brilliance of these two fine women. I urge you once again, Amazon has Kemlyn's new book, Between the Lies, and you can order directly from her if you'd like an author's copy for that same $25 plus shipping. Be available and as of March 25th. So get your copy.
Actually, it's available now, but my author's copies are available after March 19th.
Thank you so much for making sure that was clear. Poet Khan, what would you like to share with us, my dear?
I'm going to be reading a piece from my book, CPR to My Dreams, and Ode to 2020. This is on Amazon in my link tree. Yes, CPR to My Dreams by Poet Khan Rossfire. It's on Amazon as well. And it's a depiction of COVID and the onset of quarantine, and while the race war was going on. I couldn't protest, so I wrote. So here we go. I'm going to share quarantine spontaneity. I remember spontaneity. 9 p.m. phone calls discussing plans for the nightfall. I remember the city, the lights, the cars, the stars, the star on the mountain. Do you remember the fountains? Now, that was shopping. I remember enjoying shopping, bar hopping, bebopping on the microphone. I remember the stage, the joy of achieving congregated laughter. What a disaster we have become. I remember denying the opportunity of the church door, being too tired, naked, too hungover. I remember children in the playground, sand, immigrants being Americans, a confidence in a constitution, a hope for retribution. I recall a melodic melody meant to maintain my sanity. I remember hope for humanity, what I would not do. Thank you.
May I regale you on with one of my COVID poems?
Please.
Yeah, we all had this, interesting. So much of the world with its positive and its negative. The negative, of course, so many people were sick, so many people died, so many are still impacted, and that's a terrible, terrible thing. And in a funny way, poets have reaped a wonderful bounty. So many of us have discovered each other in this global Zoom space. I have been so enriched by meeting so many marvelous, marvelous poets. So let me share you one of my little COVID poems, which I hope will both touch your heart and maybe make you smile a little bit. It's called Down from the Trees. Honey baby, tell me please, since we're really not that long down from the trees, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, up in the branches or down on deeply polished floors. We like reciprocal, you and me. Even since we balanced on the limbs of trees, whether out in the car or up in the tree, I'll groom you and you groom me. The only thing now that's left for us, as the virus sets a fence between what we really feel and what we really mean, with you so far away, on the other side of the glowing screen, another day. We wave weekly. How I miss your sweet perfume and the many ways, darling, you decorate a room. The distance mars our love sealed up behind the screen's glass walls, untouched. Oh, honey baby, tell me please, since we're really not that long down from the trees, I wish you were here to find and pluck off all my fleas. We're isolated, out of touch, and miles away my fingers clutch in disarray, my clothes askew. What I wouldn't give for you to have your seat beside me here, with your fingers searching my matted hair, even to have you look with scorn at the clothes piled across the room I've worn. I'd even eat the toast you burn if I could beside you touch you and warmly turn.
Oh, there. That was beautiful.
Thank you, thank you.
We
Oh,
even
that's
missed the
such a
burnt
good
toast.
way.
Yep, even the burnt toast. Um, Kemlyn, let me ask you. You've been on this voyage from a horrible situation. You found your strength. You found friends that'll support you. Um, what advice would you give someone, regardless of age or sex, who've had to deal with abuse, whether emotional, psychological, physical, sexual? What advice? You've made such great progress. What can you share to help the next person?
So Nadine Harris Burke has a TED talk about adverse childhood experiences. And the one critical component for healing, the possibility of healing, is having someone, at least one person in your life that you can be honest with. That's a non-judgmental space where you can speak forth your trauma. Now, I recommend definitely that for those of you with access to process with a licensed therapist. Not all therapists will be an initial fit for you, so you need to find someone that you really trust. So just because there's a degree, that doesn't mean that they are fit for you. Find that person so that you can speak forth your truth and be present, show up for yourself. It is hard work. It does not feel good. But the alternative is death, either a slow one or a fast one. So there, I've used the National Suicide Crisis Hotlines, the sexual abuse hotlines. Hotlines are a great way to start because they are anonymous and they have trained professionals who are caring, oftentimes volunteering their time to listen because they care. And they will also provide you with your resources in your communities, whether it's in the United States or other places in the world, to maybe get you some help. I might not be able to be a therapist because I'm not one. However, if anyone reaches out to me, I will do my best to find resources to connect you with. And this is why I am a creative. When I was 8 years old, I had a series of dreams where children all around the world were crying. And I kept waking up and asking, why are you crying? And the answer was, every child needs to know that they are loved. There's a child in each one of us that needs to be seen and cared for. And so my commitment is, as I get stronger, that I will help anyone, if it's possible, within my resources, to encourage them to be seen and to grow and to find hope and love in their life.
Well, you're such a fine person. It's such a joy to see you blossom past those past pains, and how generous of your heart to try to do what you can to help others. And I think your advice was very good. Um, Let me turn to you, Poet Khan, again. Your work is powerful. Where might someone find you? What Zoom rooms do you frequent? What pieces that you're presenting might people share with you? Where can they find you?
I have been spending quite a bit of time on Instagram here lately.
Okay.
So my Instagram handle is at poet_con_Ross_fire. I have a link tree there in my bio. My link tree, PoetCon, is my link tree. As far as my publishing goes, I have an Instagram handle for my publishing page, Self-Published with Con. If as far as inquiries on that, you can email me at selfpublishedwithcon@gmail.com. And yeah, I'm accessible.
Okay.
Just,
If you would, in the chat, share maybe your email contact, your Instagram handle, or whatever, so I make sure I get it exactly right. We'll include that in the publicity.
okay.
Ladies, it's been such a pleasure and an honor to talk to you both. Kemlyn, any final thoughts, dear, to sum up? Again, the name of the book is Between the Lies, right?
Yes.
Available at Amazon across the globe, and they can get a personal copy. Now, is there a date yet for the the signing of the book event?
No, we haven't established it yet, but you can find find me on Facebook at Kemlyn Tan Bappe, Q's Blue World, or Club Mermaid. To find out the upcoming events. Join us as an audience for Between the Lines on Tuesdays at 5 a.m. Phoenix time and 8 p.m. Singapore time. Come to see Rick and sometimes Khan share their art forms with us. And stay tuned to what exciting things that will be happening in person and online at Q's Blue World.
Well, thank you both so very much. I'm so pleased that you could take the time to join us. And this, of course, will be available up on Poets of the East in a week or so. Thank you again, both of you. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you, Rick, for having me.
Thank you so much, Rick. Thank you for having us.
A real honor on my part. Thank you, ladies.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Have a good day.